Dear everyone, it's our great honor and privilege to welcome a distinguished leader, Vice President of India, Shri Jagdeep Dhankarji, to our campus. To begin off, the session today, we will all stand up for our national anthem. Now I invite Professor Rajya, Director IIT Delhi.
Good afternoon. It's indeed our pleasure on behalf of all the students, staff and faculty of IIT Delhi. We are delighted to have in our midst the Honorable Vice President of India, Shri Jagdeep Dhankarji. To all of us, he needs no introduction. He has had a distinguished career in law, in public service, in Parliament, as the Governor and now as the Vice President. He was in the chair of the Rajya Sabha when the historic Women's Reservation Bill was passed, and he actually created history by having women parliamentarians co-chair that session. We had a brief interaction with him and we were fascinated by his ideas and his interest in education. We are delighted that he has agreed to come and talk to us and also answer questions from our students, staff and faculty. So I will not stand in the way of this interaction. I just want to say how delighted we are that you have agreed to come here and spare time for us. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Professor Dhankarji. I now request our Honorable Vice President to come to his address.
Good afternoon, all of you. The director must be a very tough teacher. He has called me too soon. I thought there will be some breathing time, some reprieve. But when the director is tough and the faculty is tougher, and when you get out of the institute in the larger world, take a big leap, you remember them every time for having made you spinally very, very strong. Professor Rangan Banerjee, Director IIT Delhi, Professor T.R. Srikrishnan, Deputy Director Operations, Professor Ambu Sagar, Deputy Director Strategy and Planning, Professor Narayanan D. Kurur, Teen Academics. I hope his job is not as difficult as it used to be during our times. Because when you are dean in charge of academics and you have to deal with the students, distinguished members of the faculty, and my dear students. Let me bare my heart. I have solicited this invite because I wanted to be with the best institute, faculty and students located in Delhi. When I went to IIT Madras, IIT Guwahati, it was put to me, you must have been to IIT Delhi. Now I overcome that. It is an absolute delight and privilege to be amongst you all. And why I say so? In a country of 1.4 billion, to have such a gathering of brilliant minds who have got into this place by taking one of the toughest examinations on the planet. A delightful moment for me. IIT makes a difference in your lives, and it will sure will. In turn, you all are bound to make impactful affirmative difference in the lives of people and humanity. IIT alumni have so done, and very commendably. It is known to the world and well recognized. This institution, with rich legacy of excellence, has been a beacon of light in India's educational landscape for over 6 decades. It has produced some of the brightest minds that have gone on to shape the destiny not just of this country, but of the world. Friends, my dear students, you are part of eminent institutions in the world, and we do not need any calibration or certification from outside. This institute is one of the best in the world. You are fortunate beneficiaries of education at such an institution. I say so because I am a product of education. I studied in a village school, had to travel a few kilometers for class 6 to another village, was lucky to get a scholarship and got admitted to Sainik School, where quality education was made available. I know out of personal experience the turnaround in your life takes place only when you get quality education. When as Vice President I went to my alma mater Sainik School Chittorgarh, emotively I reflected. Biologically I was born in village Kitana, but my real birth took place in Sainik School Chittorgarh. Yours is taking place in this institute. IITs today are most acknowledged brand across the countries. In my interaction with foreign leaders, in my capacity as Vice President of the country, I was overwhelmed when very passionately one of them wanted an IIT campus in his country. That speaks volumes of the reputation the institution has. IIT Madras has embarked on this journey already. MOU has been signed with Tanzania to set up a branch in Zanzibar. And I am given to understand by your director that you are on way to have one such campus in Middle East. Knowledge and education, and this is acknowledged by one and all, are the most impactful transformational mechanism to bring about much needed societal change. Inequities and equality are best assured when there is quality education. Fortunately, in last few years, there has been a very serious effort and focus on education, including by way of having national education policy after more than 3 decades. IITs have played a pivotal role in India's development story, from generating new knowledge by engaging in cutting-edge research, and there are ample instances of it. They have changed the way our country is, the research in these institutions, promoting academic growth and developing human potential to its fullest extent. IITs have been crucible in which the minds that have transformed India and the world were forged. The number is endless. I can give instance. Sundar Pichai, the CEO of Alphabet, to N.R. Narayan Murthy, the co-founder of Infosys, the leaders of major organizations in India and across the globe, proudly bear your badge. Their journey began here, like your journey begins. You have that potential, capability, and guidance to reach those heights. I have no doubt you shall reach those heights. IITs have changed lives of many, but those many whose lives were changed by IIT have catalyzed a change in millions, and that is giving back to the society in a true sense. It is indeed admirable that the reach and impact of IITs has been extended to every length and breadth of this country. And this is because admissions are accorded in IITs on pure merit, pure consideration. I am totally opposed, pained and anguished at some narrative being floated that IITs are catering to those who are in upper class. That is not the case. You all here are testimony to this. Each one of you here is on account of merit and merit alone. It is soothing to note that network of this kind is getting expanded all over the country. This is democratization of access to world-class education, but there is an added dimension to it. When you make available such kind of education, you allow people to unleash their potential, to work according to their talent and realize their aspirations and dreams. The contribution of IITs was available for this country when the world faced pandemic COVID. Your IIT is singled out for that. Rising to the challenge of containing the virus, I am told IIT Delhi initiated important research and development projects. The thirst of your director to engage into these activities was seen me briefly when I interacted with the faculty. And I can tell you, I have undertaken to the faculty and the director that I will act as a foot soldier and student of this IIT to generate any interaction which I am capable of. The ones they have suggested, those interactions are in my domain. They will fructify in a time-bound manner. Friends, while I take great pride in extolling your past existing achievements, I avail the opportunity to inspire you for taking on the challenges that lie ahead and make most of such opportunities. I'll come to the challenges later. You, the young minds of India, are vanguards of a resurgent Bharat. And you are lucky to be living in times when, on account of affirmative policies of the government and the ecosystem, you can enhance your skills and contribute to the maximum. Friends, as we approach the year 2047, a year that marks century of our independence, for that, some of us may not be around. You all shall be around. And you are the torch bearers who will lead us into a future that is defined by innovation and enterprise. The entire world is stunned by our skills in these areas. The achievements of young minds in this country have been nothing short of extraordinary. Look at the recent past. Past few years, you know about it. From revolutionizing the agriculture sector, and IITs have played a great role in that, to creating the third largest startup ecosystem in the world. Your contributions span across every sector of the economy. You have harnessed emerging technologies to create cutting-edge products that are changing the way we live, we work, and relate to each other. My dear young friends, our Bharat has great expectations from you. You are the greatest spinal strength of this country. What this country will be in future, in coming years, you will shape that. We are living in an era where Bharat's influence is felt far beyond its borders. I have experienced it during my 3 visits abroad, interaction with global leaders ranging from presidents of powerful countries. India is looked at very differently. India defines its own policies in its own interest, and the world takes note of what India does, what India will do, and what India's stand is. We have witnessed unstoppable rise of Bharat, and trust me, this rise is on incremental trajectory and bound to be so, because when you take a leap in the larger world, you will be propelling it. It has marked its presence on global stage and as a force to reckon with. Be it United Nations, WTO, or the recently G20, from every global conference to conflicts across the globe, India's stand matters. Look at what happened in G20. All over the country, about 60 locations, 200 meetings, and we came out with that daily declaration that shows the strength of this country, that how collaboration, consensual approach can result in global harmony. The world came to see in G20 what it had not seen before. The world now feels the century belongs to Bharat. India is being looked upon, and look around the 2 conflicts we have in the Middle East and in Europe-Russia area. India is being looked as problem solver for the challenges of our time. And imagine the strength of our diplomacy. We have taken a stand that suits our country the best. And the stand we have taken with respect to war and diplomacy, dialogue, resolution, is in consonance with our civilizational ethos. My dear friends, Bharat today has become agenda setter. We set the agenda. We are having headquarters of International Solar Alliance. We gave to the world yoga, and millet was declared from United Nations, 2023 year of the millet. These are milestone, historic, epochal achievements which India has achieved through intervention of global bodies. The entire world fell in line, and therefore welfare of the humanity at large. Our Bharat has come a long way. I was reflecting to the faculty that when I was elected to Parliament in 1989 and was a union minister, our economy was in shambles. Our physical gold had to be airlifted, to be placed to 2 banks to save our financial credibility. And why? Just a decade ago, India was counted as one of the fragile 5. Those 5 countries that were burdened to the economy of the world, India was part of it. Where have we come now? In 2022 September, India became the world's 5th largest global economy. And in the process, we overtook UK and France. Who road that takes me there within 3 hours? All this has taken place because our human resource is very quick to grab with the skill. One thing which I say, there was a time when power corridors were infested with liaison agents, middlemen, and corruption was the norm. You all know it. Power corridors have been sanitized. Power brokers who used to leverage decision making are not to be seen. And this is reflected, I'll come to later, in our actual accomplishments. Corruption in democracy is the greatest enemy of the common man. Corruption is extremely hurtful to the common man. And now there is zero accommodation for corruption. You may be anybody, you may be having any lineage, you have to be accountable before rule of law. And that is the most quintessential requirement of democracy. How can there be democracy where you will be treated differently and somebody else will be treated differently? That can't happen. That is not happening. Very similarly, friends, there are certain forces peddling false narrative to taint and tarnish the image of Bharat and its institutions. They have also been trying, as I told a while ago, reputation of IITs. All on misconception. Now, IITs I know for sure. People from the village come, people from humble background come, people who made it with great difficulty. People who do not come from upper strata of society. Some may be coming on merit. But a different impression was sold to the outside world. You are the real proof of it. And therefore it is bound and duty of all of us, particularly students like you, to decimate and neutralize such kind of narratives which are pernicious, untenable, and do not reflect the ground reality. For some strange reason, which I can't rationalize, our growth is indigestible to some. Some people can go to the extent of saying, oh, Pakistan has a better hunger index than India. Imagine to what extent they can go. How farcical. They have some problem with institutions like IIT must do something to find out why their digestive system is so repulsive to the growth of this country. Something has to be done. All students before me, you are foot soldiers, you are warriors of Bharat at 2047. You will be shaping Bharat's destiny by the time you reach 2047. It is your responsibility to neutralize all anti-Bharat narratives, and that is required to be done in a vigilant manner. My appeal to alumni: being at the helm of technological and managerial affairs in leading organizations, it is your responsibility to make sure that nobody can have authority to malign and disdain democratic institutions in this country. Tell me which country in the world can claim to have constitutional democracy from village up to the center? Earlier we used to have democracy at the state level and central level. Now we have at the village level, at the district level. The only country in the world to have this distinction. And look around our neighbors. Look around global scene. Our democracy is flourishing, blushing and blooming. All because no one in this country can get away from essential democratic values. The people of this country are spinally very strong. They can compromise on anything but democratic values. My appeal, I am sure, will be taken seriously by the alumni. I have been toying with an idea for a long time and indicating it to several other institutions. I will do it here. Alumni of IITs and IIMs and leading institutes of excellence in our country, they constitute a real reservoir of power, talent, exposure, experience. They must converge into a federation. There must be a federation of alumni associations of IITs, IIMs, so that they can give guidance, enlighten people, enlighten policy makers, enlighten parliamentarians which way to go. When we have such a reservoir available to us by way of rich, gifted human resource, why should we not avail the opportunity? That's my appeal. My dear young friends, many positive path-breaking and futuristic steps have been taken by various state governments and the central government to ensure that the country remains at the forefront of technological innovations and research. Long gone are the days of debate over literacy versus illiteracy. We don't have any debate these days. The debate is literacy versus illiteracy today. Revolutionary changes in our technological landscape is redefining very aspect of our society. Human intelligence today is all about using artificial intelligence to the best of our benefit. Recall the address of the Honorable Prime Minister to the members of Senate and Congress. You will vividly recollect if you have seen that address. He said AI. Everyone understood AI, artificial intelligence. He said America, India, which means oldest, mother of democracy and a developed democracy. And the response was positive because he was talking something which is writing on the wall. Gone are the days when Indian Prime Minister could be taken differently. He is now a world leader. We are not on individuals. We are on our Prime Minister who represents Bharat, 1.4 billion people. His voice is heard. His advice is recurring to the decision making. That's a big change we all are having at the moment. Government of India recognizes this rapidly changing landscape, and I was happy to learn from my brief interaction that this is the focus area of IIT Delhi also. Center for Artificial Intelligence and Robotics has been specifically set up to foster research and innovation in this sector. Let me tell you, my young friends, earlier we used to wait for several years and decades to align ourselves with technological developments. Now we are in the forefront. We are not lagging behind. I'll give you some illustrations which are seriously of concern to you, because you are in a premium institute, engaging in premium study, which others are not having. Indian advancements have attracted collaboration from advanced countries, USA, Germany, Japan, Israel, France. Even NCERT is introducing a basic course in AI and preparing a new national curriculum framework. And with respect to artificial intelligence, it's a great asset. But you are thinking minds. You know the dangers also. You know how top leaders in industry have red flagged it, how they are keen for regulatory regime. You have to channelize your energy to make impact at a global level with respect to artificial intelligence also. It has a great utility, great usefulness. But your contribution will matter once you will engage into in-depth analysis. A work in progress globally, quantum computers. Now I am not required to talk about quantum computers elsewhere, but this is the right place for me to focus. Appreciate the governance that is focused attention in a meaningful manner on quantum computers. They are a reliable class of computers that work several times faster than the speediest machines of today, and also facilitate exponentially secure communication networks with wide application. You will be happy to know that Union Cabinet on Wednesday, April 19, 2023, approved over 6,000 crore rupees for National Quantum Mission that will fund research and development of quantum computing technology and associated applications. This will make a sense here. If I were to reflect on this elsewhere, they would be thinking I am talking something which या तो मेरे सर के ऊपर से है या सुनने वाले के सर के ऊपर से है. But you are the real people who have to get into it. And this Quantum National Commission is a quantum jump for India. And this was made when we approved National Quantum Mission to accelerate quantum technology-led economic growth and leverage Bharat into a leading nations in the latest ecosystem. You will know more than I do which are the countries taking lead in it. The number is not in double digit. We are there. This will spur development in quantum computing, cryptography, communications and material science. This will in turn aid development of satellite-based secure communication and long-distance secure quantum communication. Now for a man like me who is not from that particular field, even I get surcharged, energized, motivated, inspired. But you will have to work it. An opportunity for you. And I am sure you will avail it. Friends, in the world's most connected democracy, we have over 120 crore mobile connections. कईयों के तो समझ में भी नहीं आता है. When I meet heads of some countries और population पूछता हूँ, तो कईयों की तो 10 लाख से कम है, कुछ की 1 लाख से भी कम है. And look at our greatest strength is our demography, our youth demographic component. The world is envying it. It is taking our growth engine to exponential heights. The world does not have that. Then I wouldn't say much about 6G, but we are one of the early countries to focus on it. And you know the impact it will have. I need not speak to audience before me on the importance of it, the positive consequences of it. And you all, when you go to your villages, you know the impact of it. It has transformed, revolutionized life of an ordinary इंडियन लिविंग इन द विलेज। आज वो सब काम अपने मोबाइल से करता है। बिजली का बिल हो, पानी का बिल हो, पासपोर्ट अप्लाई करना हो, सरकारी डिलीवरी कोई चीज लेनी हो, ही डज इट। We are a country which has been defined by the Prime Minister by using a very apt expression. He said, this decade in India is to be tech aid, which means technology will be on the radar more prominently. And this is making a great difference in our country. I'll focus on another area where this is the appropriate form. This is the most appropriate form that opens vistas of opportunities, challenges, where you have to be the best in the world, and that is the National Green Hydrogen Mission. This aims to accelerate the deployment of green hydrogen as a clean energy source, will support the development of supply chains that can efficiently transport and distribute hydrogen. The National Green Hydrogen Mission, and the initial outlay is 19,000 crores, was approved in January 2023. And the intended objective was making India a leading producer and supplier of green hydrogen in the world, creation of export opportunities for green hydrogen and its derivatives. Now what I am saying next has to be fructified by your efforts. Your mind has to be diverted to that area also. The indications are the target by 2030 are likely to bring about 8 lakh crore investment and create over 6 lakh jobs. This is your responsibility. You understand the subject much better. To others it may be an abstract idea, but for you it's a ground reality. Nearly 50 MMT per annum of CO2 emissions are expected to be averted by 2030. Now this is not just a sentence. Aversion of this means a lot. A challenge which the planet is facing, that challenge is sought to be combated also by this mechanism. The mission will facilitate demand creation, production, utilization and export of green hydrogen. I have no doubt some of you will be seriously engaged into these activities once you take a leap in the larger world. This significant mission will enable India to be the global hub for production and export of green hydrogen. By 2030, as I said earlier, we would like to replace rupees 1 lakh crore worth of fossil fuel imports with domestically produced green hydrogen. Now this is not a simple replacement. We are paying heavily in foreign exchange. I'll put an idea across to you also. Economic nationalism is fundamental to the growth of a country. You are the brains that will secure it. My heart pains when we import certain items from other countries. Candles, diya, furniture, kites, बच्चों के खिलौने, furniture, curtains. In the process, what are we doing? We are not only draining out our valuable foreign exchange, we are depriving our hands to work. You are to ensure, since I am on this particular point at the moment, our raw material should not leave our source. Why should we not add value to our raw material? If our raw material goes to another country, it is some kind of a recognition of our failure, that we are unable to do what others will do it after getting it. If we are having certain items, let's say metal industry, steel or aluminium, I am sure some of you will get into the line. Seriously focus on that and see that the needs are domestically met because we have technological upgradation. And that shall happen for sure. Friends, we are lucky, and you are more lucky, living in times where there is no dearth of opportunities. Our diversity, our democracy, our demography are pillars of our strength. In a deeply connected country such as ours, technology is a game changer. It has transformed the national landscape. सोचा था किसी ने कि 11 करोड़ किसान 2,60,000 रुपये 2,60,000 करोड़ रुपये सीधे अपने बैंक अकाउंट में ले रहे हैं. I can appreciate efficiency of the government in giving it, पर वो भी तो लेने को तैयार है. This is not a small change. It's a big change. Now there is no leakage, no cut money, no deduction in facilities being made available or fiscal relief being made available directly to the person concerned. I'll give you some examples that will tell you where we are today, why the world is in awe of us, why the world is taking serious note of India, why Indian Prime Minister's voice is heard more seriously than ever before, why he has become a global leader. And this is, in 2022, 1.5 trillion US dollars transactions were digital all over the world. 1.5 trillion US dollars. And our Bharat accounted for 46% of them. Did you ever dream of it? Digital transactions mean the people are technologically savvy. They have access to technology. They can avail technology. 46%. And these transactions are more than that of USA, UK, France and Germany multiplied by 4. Where have we come? You are therefore well equipped to take a big jump because people have become technologically very savvy. And these are figures undisputed globally. When it comes to internet users, we have more than 700 million. But our per capita data consumption is more than that of USA and China taken together. All because our people are genius. हम भारतीय तो मोर की तरह हैं. सब कुछ ठीक है, जब पांव की तरफ देखते हैं ना तो मोर को भी थोड़ा झटका लगता है. We have to believe in ourselves. We have to take pride in our historic epochal accomplishments. We have to keep our nation always first. And that young minds will do. I have no doubt about it. Total UPI transactions reached 9.3 billion in June 2023. I repeat, UPI transactions reached 9.3 billion in June 2023. UPI now working in Singapore, Malaysia, Nepal, even in France and UK also. And let me divert slightly. Our ISRO, we are putting satellites of which countries in the space? Singapore, developed countries including the Western countries, we are doing it. We became the first country in the world to land on the south pole of moon. और कहते हैं ना, तिरंगा वहां गाड़ दिया और शिव शक्ति पॉइंट को चिन्हित कर दिया. ये छोटा अचीवमेंट नहीं है. But all this is propelled by thought process of brilliant minds like you. International Monetary Fund during our time. By our time I mean 3 decades ago when I was in government, a minister, कहते थे हालत खराब है, कैसे सुधरेगी. That IMF now says India is a bright spot in global economy. It's a favorite destination of investment and opportunity. ये वो कह रहे हैं. And it was a delightful moment for me when I interacted with these people. I've interacted with IMF president, a lady, on more than 4 occasions. But the World Bank president, during G20, what he reflected, he said what India has achieved in digital world in 6 years is not achievable even in 47 years. It is not a small achievement. इसीलिए मैं कहता हूँ कुछ लोगों का हाजमा खराब क्यों है, वो राइटिंग ऑन द वॉल को क्यों नहीं देखते. ये हकीकत है, ये ग्राउंड रियलिटी है. आज का यूथ, आज का नवयुवक, विशेषकर वह जो आप जैसी संस्थाओं में अध्ययन कर रहा है, कुछ भी कर गुजरने के लिए काबिल है. कैन टेक दिस कंट्री टू एनी हाइट. और हमारा ऑब्जेक्ट तो क्लियर है, विश्व गुरु को नंबर 1 रहना है. वी आर ऑन वे टू इट. वी आर मार्चिंग टू दैट डेस्टिनेशन. वी आर गैलपिंग टू दैट डेस्टिनेशन एज ए मैटर ऑफ फैक्ट. आपको उसमें और इस रफ्तार जोड़नी है, वो आप जोड़ देंगे, आई एम नो डाउट अबाउट इट. ग्लोबल रिकॉग्निशन ऑफ अकम्प्लिशमेंट्स, ये क्यों हो रहा है? हमारी ब्यूरोक्रेसी काम करती है, सरकार काम करती है, बट अल्टीमेटली द क्रेडिट हैज टू गो टू द लीडरशिप. द लीडरशिप हैज टू बी विजनरी. इट हैज टू बी इन मिशन मोड. It has to execute and deliver. And what we have seen, it is happening. I'll slightly divert and let you know. Did you ever think Article 370 will be not in the Constitution? It is not. Now imagine how can a temporary article in the Constitution last for 70 years and still people say कि इसके बिना काम नहीं चलेगा. हो गया. जो कुछ हो रहा है वो कल्पना से परे है, कुछ लोगों के समझ के बाहर है. India today is being flocked by people from all over the globe. यहाँ इन्वेस्टमेंट करना चाहते हैं, इंडस्ट्री लगाना चाहते हैं, अपनी एंटरप्रेन्योर स्किल दिखाना चाहते हैं. और उसका कारण है the kind of rich human resource India has is unrivaled. There is no place in the world where you can get such kind of a situation. Technological penetration is very, very important. Earlier the growth used to be in a pyramid only at the top. थोड़ी आती थी तो नीचे आ गई. पर tier 2, tier 3 cities और गांव इससे वंचित रहते थे. अब ऐसा नहीं है. The facilities, my dear friends, which you enjoy here are available in your village. And COVID has demonstrated it. That when work from home was allowed, गांव का आदमी गांव से काम कर सकता था. और किया है. This is the big change. And this change will define India's growth story. Friends, I have taken much time. I'll take some questions also. But I urge my young friends, my young minds, and I've been telling it all over. Never have tension. Never have stress. Heavens have historically never fallen. तो आप और मेरे लिए क्यों fall करेंगे? We have never seen heavens fall. So I urge you, if you have an idea, don't keep it in your mind. Don't fear failure. Try the idea. Success is not necessary in the first instance. But if you keep an idea parked in your mind and you don't act on it, you are doing great injustice not only to yourself but to the society at large. So be bold. Think out of the box. And there are multiple opportunities now available to think out of the box. I'm sure all of you will. What Vivekananda ji said, take risk in your life. He said it in plural, take risks, not one. Take risks in your life. If you win, you can lead. If you lose, you can guide. Unquote. और उन्होंने तो ये भी कहा था, rise, awake, keep on going till the goal is achieved. और हमारा गोल क्या है? 2047 में, when you will be the key players, you will be in the prime of your life, you will be blossoming with energy, talent, to take Bharat to the status of being a very developed nation. Dear students, with you in mind, my heart is filled with hope and optimism. And these are not words. My hope is well founded. My optimism is practical. This is bound to happen. The future of our nation is safe in your capable hands. I urge you to dream big, think boldly, act decisively, and never be tentative. Friends, distinguished members of the faculty, together let us work towards a Bharat at 2047 that is just not a vision, but a reality that surpasses our wildest of dreams. Thank you, and may you continue to shine brightly on the path of knowledge and progress. Be Bharatiya and ever keep interest of Bharat uppermost. I am grateful to the director and the faculty for having made available this very significant opportunity to me to interact with brilliant minds. While I have invited the faculty to interact with me at our place Parliament and Uprashtrapati Niwas, I would invite in groups students of IIT to have a look at new Parliament building, Bharat Mandapam, Yashobhumi, Prime Minister's Museum, and War Memorial. My office will coordinate with the concerned dean and have it in batches. You will be amazed to see the kind of technological employment we have made available in the new Parliament building. If you look at a painting, you just have to scan and get the entire history. You will be happy and delighted that such an achievement could be there in this country in the face of COVID in less than 30 months. Same about Bharat Mandapam, one of the top 10 convention centers in the world. Same about Yashobhumi, much larger than Bharat Mandapam. These are the changes that have happened because vision, passion, execution of the Prime Minister, who depends heavily on youth of this country. He has talked at all fora in the world that India is absolutely grateful to the Maker for making available youth demographic dividend. Thank you so much.
Thank you for those encouraging and inspiring words to our young audience. We will have time for a few questions. Let's follow this discipline. Please wait for the mic to ask your question and be concise.
You can come here. Yes, that will be much better.
थैंक यू सर। मेरा नाम चक्रवर्ती है, मैं CRDT सेंटर की टेक्नोलॉजी IT दिल्ली में। सर मेरा प्रश्न आपसे है कि जिस तरह सभी जनमानस को शिक्षा, स्वास्थ्य और बेसिक नेसेसिटीज का अधिकार है, उसी तरह सभी जनमानस को सुलभ न्याय व्यवस्था का भी अधिकार है। भारत में गांव के संदर्भ में हम देखते हैं कई बार न्यायिक प्रक्रिया इतना जटिल होता है कि न्याय पाने के लिए वो अन्याय को सह लेते हैं कि वो प्रक्रिया इतना जटिल है। कोर्ट, एडवोकेट, पुलिस, विटनेस गांव से शहर में जाना लगता है कि एक दूसरे देश जा रहे हैं। रात से तैयारी करते हैं, कुछ खाना बना के ले जाना है, दिन भर कोर्ट पे रहना है, तो उनको लगता है बहुत लंबा प्रक्रिया, तो वो न्याय से वंचित रहना ही अपने आप को बेहतर समझते हैं। तो गांव के संदर्भ में हम ये आपसे कहना चाहते हैं और पूछना भी चाहते हैं कि ग्राम स्तर के विवाद निष्पक्ष और प्राकृतिक न्याय के सिद्धांत के आधार पर सुलझाए जाते रहे हैं भारत में आजादी से पहले। क्यों नहीं गांव के छोटे मोटे विवादों का निपटारा करने की जिम्मेदारी गांव की ही जनता को न्याय पंचायत के माध्यम से साइंटिफिक अटेंशन के साथ में दी जाए। धन्यवाद सर।
एक तो बहुत अच्छा प्रश्न है और बहुत मुश्किल है, जमीन से जुड़ा हुआ प्रश्न है। IIT दिल्ली का भी इसमें बहुत बड़ा रोल रहेगा, आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस का भी रहेगा। जो समस्या बताई गई है उसके निराकरण का प्रयास हुआ है। पहला जो कुछ महीने पहले ही हुआ है, पार्लियामेंट ने एक मीडिएशन बिल पास किया है और मीडिएशन बिल काफी चर्चा के बाद पास किया है। पार्लियामेंट की कमेटी को भी दिया गया था और उसका उद्देश्य यही है कि लिटिगेशन कम हो, जल्दी खत्म हो, एटलीस्ट लेवल पर हो और सौहार्दपूर्ण वातावरण में हो। जो मुकदमा कर रहे हैं उनमें कड़वास भी नहीं हो। ये बहुत ही एक महत्वपूर्ण किया गया है। दूसरा, जितने पुराने कानून थे और अचानक उनकी लपेट में आम आदमी आ जाता था, उनको बहुत बड़ी संख्या के अंदर खत्म कर दिया गया है। तीसरा, जो कुछ गलती किसी से हो जाती थी और तुरंत वह फौजदारी दायरे में आ जाता था। सो बिग स्टेप वाज टेकन टू डीक्रिमिनलाइज सर्टेन ऑफेंसेस, टू कन्वर्ट देम इनटू सिविल ऑफेंसेस। यह व्यापक स्तर पर हुआ है। पर जिस बात आपने रेज की है, 3 बहुत स्पेशल विधेयक पिछले सत्र में आए थे। अंग्रेजों की जो विरासत थी हमारे कानून को लेकर, 3 कानून, दीवाने भी हैं, फौजदारी भी हैं, उनमें बड़ा भारी परिवर्तन आ रहा है। They were given to a joint parliamentary committee. Joint parliamentary committee was required to submit a report in a time-bound program. That time will be over this month. They are submitting a report to me. Hopefully this will happen in the next winter session. हमें अंग्रेजों के दिए हुए कानून से छुटकारा मिल जाएगा और सबसे ज्यादा असर इसका गांव के ऊपर पड़ेगा। और बड़े व्यापक और काफी सोच के बाद बदलाव किए गए हैं। नंबर 1। नंबर 2, टेक्नोलॉजी के मामले में देश के अंदर तो सरकार ने टेक्नोलॉजी को नीचे तक पहुंचा दिया है, पर कोर्ट कचहरी के मामले में वो नीचे तक नहीं पहुंची है। सुप्रीम कोर्ट में टेक्नोलॉजी ठीक है, हाइब्रिड बहस भी कर सकते हो, हाई कोर्ट में भी ठीक है, पर 90% या इससे ज्यादा मुकदमे हैं वो तो नीचे की अदालत तक ही रहते हैं। उनके चिंता का विषय है। बहुत ठीक कहा, रात को रोटी ले जाते हैं कि सुबह कोर्ट में टाइम पर नहीं पहुंचेंगे तो क्या होगा, पूरे दिन इंतजार करने के बाद पेशी पड़ जाती है। इससे इकोनॉमी पर भी बहुत गलत असर पड़ता है, व्यवस्था पर भी पड़ता है। इसमें बदलाव आ रहा है और बहुत बड़ा बदलाव आ रहा है, सकारात्मक बदलाव आ रहा है। पर जो अगली बात मैं आपको कह रहा हूं वो प्रश्न से हटकर है, बट दैट कंसर्न्स यू। An institute of excellence like IIT, Delhi, can play impactful role in making artificial intelligence available in judicial decision making. And that will be amazing. You need a strong database and immediately you will be able to find out that in this factual matrix, what should be the judicial view? Number one. Number two, you can educate the people also. We in India are a very strong litigating mind. गांव में हम कहते हैं तेरे को कोर्ट दिखा देंगे, फिर हमारी जो कोर्ट की लड़ाई है वो सुप्रीम कोर्ट में आकर ही रुकती है। कुछ भी हो जाए, कितना खर्चा हो जाए, कितना समय बर्बाद हो जाए, सुप्रीम कोर्ट तक हम चलते रहेंगे। When I was member International Court of Arbitration at Paris for 3 years, यहाँ दुनिया के मेगा डिस्प्यूट रिजोल्यूशन होते थे कमर्शियल नेचर के, तो मुझे एक ने कहा कि भाई आपके यहाँ तो आर्बिट्रेशन अवार्ड का मतलब फाइनल नहीं है, दुनिया के कई देशों में है, हमारे यहाँ अवार्ड मिलते ही अवार्ड चैलेंज किया जाएगा, फिर फर्दर चैलेंज होगा, फिर सुप्रीम कोर्ट का दरवाजा तो एक बार खटखटाएंगे। और वहां भी एक नई प्रवृत्ति हो गई है, खटखटाएंगे फिर कहेंगे रिव्यू तो कर ही दें, तो रिव्यू भी हो जाएगा। फिर सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने खुद एक मैकेनिज्म डिवाइस कर दिया क्यूरेटिव पिटीशन का। मैं आपको कहना चाहता हूं, बिकॉज आई एम बिफोर थिंकिंग माइंड्स, डिसर्निंग माइंड्स, माइंड्स हु विल टेक दिस कंट्री टू ग्रेट हाइट्स। United States also has a Supreme Court. More than 200 years ago, they started with 8 judges. Then they found it necessary we must have 9 judges, odd number. They continue with 9 judges. All 9 judges sit together. They have no pendency. And jurisdiction of the Supreme Court there and our court is not very different. I am working in my own right, in my area, to see that we have a mechanism where institutional working is impactful in the domain in which it has to function. इस पर इससे ज्यादा कहना आज के दिन मुनासिब नहीं है। ठीक है।
We will take one final question because of that. You're already here.
He is like Neil Armstrong. Neil Armstrong on 20th of July 1969 was not to be the first person to land, it was the second one. But he took initiative. So my friend has waited. Go ahead.
नमस्कार माननीय जगदीश जी, मेरा नाम मोहित है और मैं इस इंस्टीट्यूट का बीटेक छात्र हूँ। क्योंकि हम सब जानते हैं हमारे भारत देश को जगत गुरु की उपाधि से सम्मानित किया गया है, लेकिन मेरा प्रश्न है क्या आने वाले समय में भी भारत इस पद की गरिमा को बनाए रख पाएगा? क्योंकि अधिकतर भारतीय संस्थानों में जहां हमारे देश के 50% से ज्यादा युवा पढ़ाई कर रहे हैं, वहां धर्म और शास्त्र के पाठ्यक्रम या तो ना के लगभग है या बहुत कम है, बल्कि और देशों के धर्म और शास्त्र के बारे में ज्यादा बताया जाता है। आपकी क्या राय है इस प्रसंग में, हम जानना चाहेंगे। मैं क्षमा प्रार्थी हूँ अगर मुझसे कोई त्रुटि हुई।
होम डिस्ट्रिक्ट कौन सा है? योर स्टेट
हरियाणा,
डिस्ट्रिक्ट?
रेवाड़ी।
रेवाड़ी। जब कोर्ट के अंदर बहुत पेचीदा प्रश्न वकील के सामने आ जाता है तो वकील कहता है the honorable court may be indulgent to give me an opportunity to assist the court on the next date. बट मोहित ने तो अपने प्रश्न से मुझे मूर्छित कर दिया है. Our country is unity in diversity, and we have civilizational ethos of more than 5,000 years. It was in Rajya Sabha, from the chair, I said, we have Vedas, we talk about Vedas, we quote Vedas, पर मैंने कहा कितने लोगों ने वेद देखे हैं, पढ़ने की बात तो बाद में है. Then I requested the Honorable Minister, Shri Dharmendra Pradhan ji, to make available all the 4 Vedas to all the members of Parliament. Number 2, एक कहावत है, घर जाएगा दिन गिने दांत. जब हम दांत देखकर उम्र पता लगाते हैं, घोड़ों के बारे में ज्यादा होती है. This has to be learnt in the house, by the surroundings, by the ecosystem. और इसमें कार्य भी हो रहा है. People are very thoughtful about it. To talk of one religion from this platform by me is not appropriate. But all I can assure is that the country is on the right track. Our education policy is in the right track. Notwithstanding the challenges that are unreasonably coming from quarters, there is resilience, tolerance, accommodation, understanding, and no discrimination. And that is why the Honorable Prime Minister at one point of time reflected that the infrastructure that we are having by way of rail, road, technology, internet, waterways are for all. But certain changes have to take place by the people themselves. They have to awaken themselves. They have to be alive to the ground reality. They have to focus on situations around them. I have indicated on lot many things here. Time is short. पर देखिए, आज भी सड़क के ऊपर दुनिया के कुछ देशों के अंदर बाईं तरफ चलते हैं, कुछ देशों के अंदर दाईं तरफ चलते हैं. बट वी आर सो फ्रीडम लविंग कि हम दोनों तरफ चलते हैं और एज ऑफ राइट चलते हैं. अब धीरे धीरे जब इसमें परिवर्तन आएगा तो होगा. फिर जब हुआ कि भी जब आप वायलेट करते हो तो फाइन बढ़ जाना चाहिए. तो कहे फाइन तो अनबियरेबल है. मेरे भाई, फी अनबियरेबल हो समझ में आती है. आईआईटी की फी रीजनेबल होनी चाहिए, समझ में आती है. फाइन के बारे में क्या अनरीजनेबल? फाइन तो गलती मत करो, फाइन लगेगा ही नहीं. पर ऐसा भी होता है. आई हैव नॉट रिप्लाइड टू योर क्वेश्चन. थैंक यू.
I request Mr. Banerjee to hand our to our honorable Vice President. Now we have come to the concluding part of our session, and we will rise again for our national anthem. I request the audience to be seated.